Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Jai Shri Ram. Welcome to our next episode in our complete reading of Srimad Valmiki Ramayana. In the last episode, we saw the Ahalya Shapa Vimochana Vrittanta. What has happened with Ahalya, how beautiful she was, what Devendra did, and what Gautama did, and how Gautama punished himself also for what has happened. We learned about all this, and once all that has happened, once Sri Ramachandra entered the ashrama, once he saw Ahalyama came out of her tapasya now, and her husband Gautama Maharshi said that you stay here, you keep drinking Vayu Bhaksha Nirahara is what he says, right? Stop taking food, keep taking only air, you live and you will come out of this sin. So when Sri Ramachandra enters this ashrama's premises, now Sri Ramachandra has, once he has entered, Ahalya becomes normal. She does the Atithi Satkara to Sri Ramachandra, Viswamitra, Lakshmana, and all the rishis. And then even Gautama Maharshi also returns to the ashrama, and Ahalyama and Gautama, they become very happy. And then Sri Ramachandra, Vishwamitra, Lakshmana, all these people, along with all the rishis, they start from that ashrama and move towards the city of Mithila, and they arrive at the city of Mithila. So now that the journey is almost getting complete, because Mithila was the final destination where they had to go, right? So now that the journey is going to be complete, now let us just try to look at how this whole thing happened, or let us try to understand if there was a particular flow, or was there a particular order in which all the things happened, and is there a meaning behind that particular order in which those things happened. Now what has happened when they started the journey? Vishwamitra Maharshi gave Bala and Atibala to Sri Ramachandra, and obviously Sri Ramachandra gave it to Lakshmana. And then, so in a way, and after that Tataka Samhara happens, and then Viswamitra Maharshi gives all, whatever is all the energy, all the Astra Shastras he has to Sri Ramachandra, right? Now, and he gives all the Vidyas also, right? So what's the meaning here? So there is a wonderful explanation to this sequence of events and why they happened in that particular sequence. This was given, or I got to know about this from a great person called Sri Bhaashayam Applachaaryulu. This is a Vishishtadvaita style of commentary that is given. So this is the Vaishnava style commentary that is that he has given, and from his book I have learned this. So with due credit to Sri Bhaashayam Varu, Sri Bhaashayam Applachaaryulu. So what has happened here is, what he says is, see, Viswamitra Maharshi realized that Sri Ramachandra is the avatar of Vishnu, so he is the Supreme Lord, and he gave away everything he had to Lord. So when a person does Sharanagati, when a person goes to God and says, I can't help myself, it is you who should take the responsibility of mine, he gives away everything he has to Bhagavan. So that's what Vishwamitra Maharshi did. He said, I need your protection. That's how he went to Dasharatha Maharaja, and then he gave away Bala, Atibala, and after that he gave away all the Astras and Shastras. Now first he got Tataka killed, and then Maricha and Subahu. So Subahu dies and Maricha is thrown away into the outskirts of Lanka, right? And now first was Kamashrama. So here Tataka represents the avidya which is there inside us. What is avidya? So there is this wonderful sloka or this wonderful quotation in Sanskrit, avidyayam mrityum tirtva vidyayam mrutamasnute. So avidya is we not knowing what the reality is. So that's what is the problem with Tataka, right? She loved someone, that man committed a crime, and because of that he lost his life, and since he lost his life, Tataka started, she almost eliminated both the Janapadas from the face of the earth. So that stands for the avidya, means you not knowing what the reality is, and with the strength, with the power that is blessed to you, you go ahead and do all sorts of nonsensical activities. So not realizing the truth is avidya. I mean, that's from a very, very laukika perspective. When you look at it from the adhyatmika perspective, avidya is clear ignorance, the ignorance of self and the ignorance of God. I mean, when I say ignorance of God, the ignorance that we carry about God. Okay, so that's the ignorance, that's avidya. Okay, and then from once he crosses this ashrama, then he moves to asiddhashrama, right? So avidya is done, and now what is Maricha and Subahu? Maricha and Subahu, they represent the Sanchita karma, the karma that they have done, and the Agami karma, the karma that is going to come to you. Sanchita is something that is already done, Agami is something that is going to come to you. Sanchita and Agami. So these two karmas get destroyed, and then we see this Manmadha's ashrama where Manmadha gets destroyed, right? So that is Kamashrama. And when they cross and when they move from Kamashrama, they go to Siddhashrama. So what is the meaning here? How are they crossing Kamashrama? Viswamitra showed that he can leave the desire part and he wants Siddhi. So he wants kill all the internal Shatrus. That's why he makes a 6-day yajna. So why is it only a 6-day yajna? Why can't it be a 7-day yajna, 8-day yajna? Why is it only for 6 nights? Because Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are the 6 Shatrus that we have, the 6 doshas that we have, and then he overcame all of that in Siddhashrama and he got the Siddhi. And now Vishwamitra is not the old Vishwamitra anymore, and from there he starts telling all good stories to Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana. So what Sri Bhaashayam Varu says in his commentary is, he says a person who has gone into the Sharan of Lord, he first needs to give up all the things that he has, I mean, that can save him, and then cross avidya, cross the ignorance part. And once he has crossed the ignorance part, means once he gets the jnana, I mean, how do you cross avidya? With vidya. How do you cross darkness? With light. So you do smarana, manana, nididhyasana and all, and you realize, you try to understand what is God. And once that is done, once you have cleared that part, then you would cross the kamashrama where you leave the desires also behind, and you also clear off your sanchita karma and agami karma, and then you do this yajna for 6 days. And the yajna for 6 days is what? You close off all, I mean, you try to conquer the kama, krodha, lobha, moha, madamatsariyas, all the 6 issues that are there in the body, and then you become one with God, and then you don't just leave the body. You got the qualification for moksha, but you don't leave the body until the woe comes from the God, or until God nods for it. And what do? You move across to all punya kshetras and you keep telling the stories of Bhagavan. That's one way in which you can attain mukti. Okay, now see what Vishwamitra did after all this has happened. Vishwamitra then went and talked about Ganga Mata. Who is Ganga Mata? Ganga Mata comes out of Vishnu's padas, it touches Shiva's body, right? And from there it clears the sins of all people, right? So, and then he also talks about Kumaraswamy Vrittanta, Janana of Kumaraswamy. And now see, what is the Kshira Sagara Madhana here? Kshira Sagara Madhana is all about, see, Bhagavan's great qualities, or we call it as Bhagavan's Kalyana Gunas. They are the milk, and when you churn the milk, I mean, that is the Kshira Sagara, and when you churn the milk, you get Samudra Manthana, and I mean, from there you get moksha, right? And then, not just that, after that, we also learn about Ahalya's Vrittanta, and again we see here that a person, whatever sins a person would have committed, the presence of Lord itself drives away all the sins. Okay, this is how the Sri Ramachandra's journey has been described here. I just try to give the clarification to all of you, or I just try to give an understanding or a bhashya of all these things and the importance on how these things occurred. So hope you all got it. Hope you all got the gist of the journey of Sri Ramachandra and journey of Viswamitra on a very, very normal level. It seems as if Viswamitra taught a lot of things to Sri Ramachandra. When you go inside and see, we also realize that Vishwamitra realized that Sri Ramachandra is the God, and he does sadhana, and he shows all of us as to how we all need to do that sadhana, right? So at this point I would like to end this episode, because this is just like a recap of what all has happened and the inner meaning of what all has happened. In our next episode we'll see how Janaka Maharaja welcomes Vishwamitra, Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana and all the other rishis as well, and how this whole thing moves towards Sita Rama Kalyanam. Okay? Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pasyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhaved. Om Sarvam Sadguru Sri Sai Maharaj Swam Charana Arvindar Pranamastu. Swasti. Jai Shri Ram.